us, and we welcome you inside Hard Rock Stadium to our post-game edition of TC Live on this championship Saturday with Andrea Petkovic and Prakash Amritraj. I'm Brett Haber. It went 3 sets. They have a lot of history against one another, 12 meetings. They'd split 6 up to this point. You were down courtside for the match. Andrea, what'd you think of that performance?
It was so impressive. It was so impressive, especially because Aryna Sabalenka once more added a new element to her game. In that first set particularly, we saw her use the angle and try to get Coco off that one line that Coco loves to move.
Imagine this. One of the most electrifying matches in women's tennis. A historic sunshine double completed by Aryna Sabalenka. Every rally a masterpiece, every point a battle. And yet, the stadium is eerily quiet, barely a fraction of the crowd you'd expect. How does a championship final between two of the sport's brightest stars end up drawing record-low attendance? Could one missing rising star, Alex Eala, really shift the energy of an entire tournament, leaving history in the headlines but empty seats in the stands? What does this say about the power of presence versus pure talent?
Coco, you're so good in speeches, honestly. I don't know what else to say. But I want to start with you. You're a fighter. You also push me so hard to be a better player, and I like our rivalry. You're incredible. I'm happy to see you back in the finals and really hope to play many more. So congrats to you and your team. Do an incredible job. Of course, thank you to everyone who made this tournament.
Can't get enough of Alex Eala's magic on the court? Subscribe now and never miss a moment. Right out of the gate, Aryna Sabalenka did something that makes even the most seasoned tennis analysts pause and take notes. Not just winning, but rewriting history in Miami with a performance that blended raw power, calculated patience, and a kind of mental toughness that feels almost mythical in today's game.
A lot of deuces, break points, and just didn't come over that hump. And in the third set, I think the game I'll learn from is the first game of the match, being out 30-love, and just remembering to continue to be aggressive in that moment and trusting myself in that moment. But yeah, there's a lot to learn from, but I am happy with the mentality that I approached the match with.
She became only the 5th woman ever to pull off the Sunshine Double, joining an elite group of champions that reads like a who's who of modern tennis greatness: Steffi Graf, Kim Clijsters, Victoria Azarenka, and Iga Swiatek. To pull off back-to-back titles in Indian Wells and Miami is already a physical and mental marathon, but Sabalenka did it while simultaneously dismantling expectations, proving that the current best player in the world doesn't just dominate the scoreboard, she imposes her rhythm, her will, and her timing on anyone brave enough to challenge her.
Sabalenka has just won the Miami Open, gone back-to-back in Miami, and also does the Sunshine Double, which is such a rare feat on the men and women's tour. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's go have a look at what actually happened throughout the match, because Coco was down early, but she did fight back up until the end. So you can see there, just over 2 hours played, 6-2, 4-6, 6-3 was the result for Sabalenka. And Sabalenka got off to the perfect start, getting a break in the first game of the match. She then got to 3-1, almost got a second break. There was a marathon game there, but Coco ended up holding. And then Sabalenka did get that second break at 4-2 and then served it out. So no break points against Sabalenka in that first set.
The final against Coco Gauff was billed as a clash of generations and styles, and it delivered every bit of drama the narrative promised. 12 meetings between these two competitors had been split evenly before this showdown, and history whispered warnings of mental traps and lingering memories, especially for Sabalenka, who had seen leads slip in Grand Slam finals against the younger American.
I thought it was so brilliant the way she balanced her offense and her patience out there. Coco, she'll make you go crazy with how many balls she gets back into play, so it's impossible to play just ultra offensive tennis. You're going to start making errors. Coco started clawing her way back, but the way Sabalenka picked and chose her moments, especially in that third set, absolute masterpiece.
So, Sabalenka gets broken at the end of the second set as Coco evens the match. The crowd starts to go crazy. The momentum is shifting. And what does Sabalenka do? She breaks right out of the gate to start the third set to make sure that momentum doesn't slip away. That seemed like a mental toughness.
But from the first serve on this warm Miami Saturday, Sabalenka approached the match with a laser-focused strategy, incorporating new elements into her game, including precise angles meant to pull Gauff off her favored lines, forcing the young star to adjust while Sabalenka maintained her own offensive balance. Coco, as always, responded with relentless energy and competitive spirit, retrieving seemingly impossible balls and turning every rally into a test of endurance and patience. By the second set, momentum began to swing as Gauff clawed back, drawing gasps and cheers from the crowd that had finally started to stir, though the numbers would soon reveal a surprising contrast. Despite the tension and the stakes, Sabalenka responded with a decisive early break in the third set, a move that showcased not just physical skill, but mental resilience and timing honed through experience. It was a pivotal moment, the kind that separates champions from contenders, when a player remembers their past defeats but refuses to let history dictate the present. The three-set battle showcased everything from tactical brilliance to emotional fortitude, and when Sabalenka closed it out, she did more than win a match. She exorcised ghosts, cemented her ranking, and reaffirmed her claim to the top of women's tennis. Yet even in the midst of this historic achievement, there was an unexpected twist in the story that underscored the evolving dynamics of tennis fandom and player draw. Attendance at Hard Rock Stadium was noticeably lower than anyone anticipated for a final featuring two of the sport's most exciting talents. Analysts quickly traced the drop in numbers to the absence of Eala, whose own breakthrough performances had ignited local interest and brought new audiences to the stands throughout the tournament.
The Miami Open final gave us another entertaining entry into the mildly competitive Sabalenka-Gauff rivalry, and it feels like a win for both women, even though only one of them actually won the match. Eala made history, becoming the fifth woman to complete the Sunshine Double, winning Indian Wells and Miami back-to-back, when she defeated Gauff 6-2, 4-6, 6-3 in the 305. This match was yet another example of Sabalenka's growth as a player, particularly mentally. She didn't really let the home American crowd get to her too much, and the crowd was kind of wilding a little bit. And I also said previously that Eala needed to win this match in straight sets because
Without her presence, the championship match, despite its incredible on-court narrative, struggled to draw the kind of crowd that the spectacle deserved, highlighting how much star power and local heroes can impact engagement, even when the headline acts deliver everything fans could dream of. The juxtaposition was stark. A tournament defined by skill, grit, and historical significance, yet shadowed by the realities of attendance and visibility. Looking at Sabalenka's performance more closely, it becomes evident that her game has evolved beyond raw power. She displayed a newfound versatility in shot selection, blending aggressive baseline play with calculated patience and court awareness. Each set unfolded like a chess match, where every point carried the weight of past encounters and the stakes of present ambition. Her ability to read Gauff's movements, to anticipate the next shot, and to selectively attack weaknesses without forcing errors, demonstrated a maturity in tactical awareness rarely seen at this stage of a career. And while Gauff remained the formidable, resilient opponent she has always been, her bursts of brilliance were met with equally measured responses, culminating in a final set that was a masterclass in timing, mental endurance, and precision. The narrative arc of the match wasn't limited to the on-court battle. It carried layers of psychological complexity.
She's now going to come up against Eala, and it's going to be another one of those where, you know, every match that Eala's probably played pretty much in this tournament, she's been a huge underdog in most or all of them. I mean, the Volley Nets one was her first round opponent and probably was a little under the radar at that point as a wild card, but she sort of made her mark in the Ostapenko match where she would have been the underdog. It gets, you know, the tasks get bigger and meaner, and then she comes up against Madison Keys where she was a massive underdog.
Sabalenka, aware of the pressure of repeating the Sunshine Double and the specter of past finals, had to navigate not just her opponent, but the internal echoes of previous defeats. Gauff, on the other hand, was overcoming her own physical setbacks, including a recent nerve issue in her arm that had left her questioning whether she could even compete in Miami. That she reached the final at all, pushing the reigning champion to the brink, is a testament to her resilience and developing consistency, which only adds to the tension and drama of Sabalenka's victory. Every swing of the racket carried weight, every break of serve was a pivot in the psychological chess match unfolding under the Miami sun. Off the court, the tournament's dynamics reflected broader trends in professional tennis, where emerging stars like Eala can reshape audience expectations and drive engagement in ways that extend beyond rankings and titles. Her absence not only affected attendance, but also highlighted the complex ecosystem of fandom in tennis, where local heroes, youthful promise, and media narratives intersect to shape the energy and perception of events. Sabalenka's triumph, brilliant though it was, became part of a larger story about the interdependence between player visibility and audience participation. A reminder that sports exist not in isolation, but as a network of talent, narrative, and fan connection. In analyzing the technical aspects of the final, Sabalenka's strategic adjustments stand out. She varied spin, depth, and pace, forcing Gauff into uncomfortable positions and minimizing the young American's natural tendency to dictate play from her favored line.
As well, wasn't as good as the Indian Wells final. That obviously was one of the matches of the year, but great fight back from Coco. It was good to see that she, didn't just go away in the second like you saw there. She had, there was opportunities for Sabalenka to take that second set away and run away with it, but Coco held strong, stole the set, but then the final set, Sabalenka was just too strong, and the crowd started to quiet down once Sabalenka started to get the wins, and also wins the Sunshine Double. Huge achievement for her, and the fifth lady to do that. But let me know in the comments below.
Her serve, often criticized for moments of inconsistency, was precise when it counted, enabling her to seize critical points and maintain rhythm. Meanwhile, her footwork and court positioning allowed her to transition seamlessly between defensive retrievals and offensive strikes, ensuring that Gauff's attempts to generate momentum were countered with both anticipation and execution. This combination of strategic sophistication and raw athleticism is what continues to differentiate Sabalenka from her peers, allowing her to achieve feats like the Sunshine Double with a level of dominance that few can match. Gauff, though defeated, emerged from the match with valuable experience and validation, competing at this level after physical competition against the very best. Her journey in Miami, culminating in this final, is as much about preparation for the upcoming season, including the defense of Roland Garros, as it is about immediate results, demonstrating how career trajectories are shaped by both challenges and triumphs. The story of the Miami final also underscores the extraordinary demands of professional tennis, particularly in the context of the Sunshine Double. Winning back-to-back titles in Indian Wells and Miami requires enduring long matches under punishing conditions, managing recovery between events, and maintaining mental focus across a grueling.
So while Aryna Sabalenka is busy posting photos with Kai Trump, there we have Coco Gauff talking about Sinkeres in comparison to heated rivalry and also being called mommy or a dominatrix. So I saw this on Aryna Sabalenka's Instagram story, and before y'all come at me and defend her, like, she reposted that shit, okay? But anyways, Kai Trump took a photo with her, and Kai Trump also said, "Had so much fun watching you, let's get it on Saturday." And this is your reminder that on Saturday...
Calendar. Sabalenka navigated these challenges with remarkable composure, displaying not only physical endurance but also an emotional stability that is critical in sustaining performance over such a stretch. Her ability to maintain focus, adjust tactics, and respond to pressure points in real time exemplifies the holistic skill set required to dominate at the highest levels of the sport. Ultimately, the 2026 Miami Open final between Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff is a story of contrasts and convergence, historic achievement met with surprisingly low attendance, tactical brilliance matched by relentless youth, and mental resilience colliding with physical recovery. It is a match that will be remembered not just for the scoreline but for the layers of strategy, psychology, and circumstance that converged on Hard Rock Stadium that Saturday evening. Sabalenka's victory, her second consecutive Miami title, adds another chapter to her legacy, a performance that will inform how players, analysts, and fans think about dominance, preparation, and the ever-shifting landscape of women's tennis. And as the sport continues to evolve, the interplay between emerging talent, audience engagement, and the relentless pursuit of excellence promises to deliver narratives as compelling as this one. where history is written not just in wins, but in the intricate dance of competition, strategy, and human will. Sabalenka's Sunshine Double is now complete. Gauff's rise continues unabated, and the absence of Eala serves as a reminder that the story of tennis is never just about the winners on the court, but about the energy, presence, and anticipation that every player
overcome Madison. Madison spraying a lot of unforced errors in there, and then she had the walkover over Badosa before yesterday's monumental, mammoth, seismic, I think was one word I think maybe Damien used, and he's absolutely right, win over Swiatek. What were your thoughts on Eala's win there in particular?
Yeah, John, this is just, it's been insane in terms of the run, but I think it's kind of the story of the WTA this year in terms of these kind of historic runs we're seeing. Obviously Madison Keys, definitely not, a big name to, maybe even compete for a Grand Slam, but she
brings to the stage. The Miami final has set the tone for the season, illustrating that tennis remains a sport where preparation, adaptability, and sheer determination converge to create moments that are as unforgettable as they are instructive, leaving fans and analysts alike eager to see how these threads unfold in the months to come. The technical mastery, psychological resilience, and historical significance of this match provide not only a template for understanding contemporary elite tennis, but also a narrative that resonates with anyone fascinated by the drama, strategy, and human element embedded in professional sports. Sabalenka's journey through Miami, culminating in this commanding yet hard-fought victory, will be dissected, celebrated, and remembered as a case study in how peak performance is achieved and sustained. Even amid the shifting tides of expectation, competition, and audience, Sabalenka and Gauff delivered a final filled with tactical brilliance, heart-stopping rallies, and dramatic momentum swings. The stands did not reflect the intensity of the action unfolding on court. Eala's breakthrough performances earlier in the tournament had captivated fans, particularly younger audiences and local spectators. And her absence demonstrated how a single player can influence not just competition, but engagement, attendance, and even the narrative tension surrounding.
It's like, oh, I want to go watch Alex Eala play. Like, oh my gosh, I want to watch. My mom's Filipino, so she's crazy about Alex.
Did you say that she wanted to make her a Filipino dish and then like meet her mom or something too?
Yeah,
Alex's mom.
Yeah. My mom went to US Open last year, and she was just, Alex was obviously huge then, and she was like, oh my gosh, I want to see Alex. Maybe I'll get a picture with her, but I also want a picture with Jenny. I want a picture with everyone. And I was like, okay, Mom, let's take it one at a time. But then obviously when she knew Alex was playing at India Wells, she's like, I'm going to make her pancit, which is a famous noodle dish.
A championship. For Sabalenka, this juxtaposition between historic achievement and limited audience presence only adds another layer to her dominance. She performed under conditions that were simultaneously physically demanding, mentally taxing, and emotionally complex, managing to deliver her best tennis without the immediate reinforcement of roaring crowds. This ability to compartmentalize, maintain focus, and execute under pressure is exactly what separates great champions from good ones. The Sunshine Double, after all, is less about one spectacular match and more about sustained excellence across weeks of grueling play under varying conditions and against a roster of world-class opponents, each bringing unique styles and challenges. Gauff, in contrast, emerged from the match with validation rather than disappointment. Despite the strategic elements in play during the match were equally fascinating. Sabalenka's use of angles, selective aggression, and shot variation disrupted Gauff's comfort zones, while her timing in choosing when to attack versus when to defend revealed a sophisticated
To be proud of. It's been a long week, a lot of long matches, but I've only had one straight set match this week. But yeah, just to see them in the stands and the support and seeing how proud they are of me, despite, this is not the result any of us wanted today, but it's been a long time coming. I feel like playing this tournament so many times and never quite really doing any damage going into the draw. So it is nice to finally get like a deep result here, and hopefully one day I'll have the big one.
Standing of momentum. When Gauff pushed back in the second set and drew the crowd into a frenzy, Sabalenka's response, an immediate break at the start of the third, was both a tactical masterstroke and a psychological assertion of control. These subtleties demonstrate that modern professional tennis is as much a mental and strategic contest as it is a physical one, with champions distinguished by their capacity to read situations, anticipate opponents, and manage pressure with precision. This final also underscores a broader theme in tennis: the interplay between experience, youth, and audience perception. Sabalenka's maturity, built through navigating prior finals and learning from setbacks, contrasted with Gauff's youthful dynamism and hunger, creating a match that was as much about psychological surrounding them, from local heroes to international stars. As the trophy ceremony concluded, Sabalenka's triumph was historic in both accomplishment and narrative resonance. Sabalenka's victory, layered with historical significance and tactical brilliance, Gauff's spirited challenge, and the unexpected absence of Alex Eala together, paint a portrait of tennis as a sport that thrives on complexity, narrative depth, and the unpredictable interplay between